Shalom, call Lord Yahweh Shema Shai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Yahweh Shema Shai Barakatam to the hopefully elect. And before I get on with this quick video, I just want to put this disclaimer. I'm not a part of any Great Millstone camps. But I do learn and I study under the doctrine of Great Millstone. And the Spirit is on me to do these videos to hopefully feed and edify the flock of Yahweh Shema Shai, because that's what it's about at the end of the day, feeding the sheep, feeding the lambs, So just to put that disclaimer, because you got a lot of sheep, wolves in sheep's clothing, all right, people coming in unawares, false prophets, a lot of pretenders, all right, so, just to clear up any confusion that anyone may have, I'm not a part of any Great Millstone camps, but I do learn and I study under the Great Millstone doctrine. So just to put that there, but basically just want to get through, this is going to be a quick video, because I really wasn't going to touch on this topic of Christmas, all right, but because been saying these things for years, all right, how we shouldn't be, so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians should not be celebrating Christmas as well as Thanksgiving and all these other pagan holidays, because that's exactly what they are, paganistic holidays, all right. But just for the sake that me doing, I'm on the platform of YouTube now, I figured I'd just go ahead and do a quick video on it. But basically, when you go into the history of Christmas, what it is, what it represents, basically, like many of these other vain traditions that we once celebrated in the world, if you're in the truth, now we don't, partake in these things, but for the most part, these people, they're partaking in, these customs, all right. A lot of them, just like Christmas, is basically like a conjunction of a bunch of things, all right. And basically, like when you go through the story about Nimrod, when you read the history about Nimrod, all right, spoken about in Genesis, all right. Basically, basically, all in all, to sum it all up, all right, because Nimrod, basically he was reverenced as a god, all right, a false god, of course. And when he died, all right, I believe it was his mother, who was also his wife, all right, just to show you, the wickedness. But basically, Nimrod, his mother slash wife, she basically, had to believe, because this is something I got to brush myself up on. But if I'm not mistaken, the history, it pretty much goes how basically where he was buried, supposedly, there was like a tree that sprang up, and supposedly she took that as some type of sign, right? And it got to the point where basically, they would reverence that tree, all right. They would supposedly, they would dig it out and things of that nature, gifts and things of that nature, just like what they do today, all right, with the setting up the whole Christmas tree, with the the lights and the presents and all that stuff, all right. And this is why I got this here in Jeremiah 10, starting verse 1. It says, "Hear ye the word which Yahweh speaketh unto you, O house of Israel," again, which would be so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians, all right, because it's written throughout how we should not be following after the customs of the heathens, all right, being that we are a royal people, all right, chosen above all the other nations of the earth, all right. We're supposed to set the standard, and we're supposed to be the ones to basically teach the nations on keeping the laws, statutes, and commandments. All right, we were supposed to be the light bearers, the Luciferians, the real Luciferians on the earth. All right, and that's how, when you, again, going back through the history of Genesis, when you read, all right, like with Adam, all right, the Lord was dealing with Adam at that time, and pretty much, Adam, he was like the top guy during his time. You had because, Adam, he was dishing out the law and things of that nature. The Lord parted wisdom unto Adam. All right. And, of course, because of jealousy, you had the other nations, which, basically that spirit of Esau. All right. That's that serpent that's talk about that spirit of Cain. All right. That spirit of Esau, which if you have the understanding, they're pretty much just Cain came back through reincarnation. It's like it. Yeah, Cain came back reincarnated as Esau. All right. But even before Cain, all right, that spirit of Esau, he was around. All right. And again, that's that serpent. But nevertheless, because again, being that, like I was saying, because so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians, all right, we're supposed to be the ones to, let me get that real quick. Where's that at? Where would that be? Just type in kings and priests. Let me I believe that's in Peters, if I'm not mistaken. All right, just bear with me as I look for this. Kingdom of, I kind of just decided to just do this real quick because, of course, there's a family, they're partaking in, that whole Christmas nonsense. I'm trying to think, where would that be? Slovakia. Yep, there it is. The water Yahweh Shem Shai. 1 Peter 2:9, it says, "But ye are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a peculiar people, that ye should show forth the praises of him who hath called you out of the darkness into his marvelous light." All right, because again, it was always set up for the children of Israel to be the light bearers. All right, the real Luciferians. We were supposed to be the ones to, teach the nations the laws and ordinances of Yahweh Shem Shai. All right, because he called us. That's just how it was written out. And again, with that being said, all right, because like I said, go ahead and go to this in Deuteronomy. This is a pretty basic, basic lesson. Deuteronomy 7 and I'll just start at the top. Deuteronomy 7:1, it says, "When Yahweh thy power shall bring thee into the land whither thou goest to possess it, and hath cast out many nations before thee." All right, because you got a lot of people that they don't believe in they believe they fall under that banner that everyone's created equal, equality, all the same flesh and things of that nature. All right, because throughout the Bible, man, how the Lord feels about his people. All right, it's clear and clear and cutthroat. The Lord favoritism is in the Bible. It's in the scriptures. All right, the Lord does have a favorite people. All right, which again would be the nation of Israel. Even from the beginning. Because the Lord was always dealing with one. He was always dealing with one. One people. All right, he was always dealing with one bloodline. All right. That favoritism, it was always there. All right. So again, because the scriptures talk about how, because Jake being in the simple mind, Jake being simple-minded. All right. Jake will question the love that Yahweh Shem Shai has for his people. And it's written in the scriptures. Basically, just look at everything that the Lord has done for us. All right. He's killed off nations for us. Well, not not entirely, but just looking at Egypt, referencing Egypt. all right, ancient Egypt, when the Lord, destroyed the Egyptians, all right, and everything else that the Lord has done for us throughout time, throughout history, all right, he did that for us, all right, because like I said, Jacob is in that mindset where they question the love of Yahweh Shemel Shai, all right. So reading on, it says, and have cast out many nations before thee. Why? Because the Lord chose us, all right, because of the love that he had for us. We're the chosen. It says the Hittites and the Girgashites and the Amorites and the Canaanites and the Perizzites and the Hivites and the Jebusites, 7 nations greater and mightier than thou. And I do believe these are all Hamitic nations, if I'm not mistaken. Verse 2 says, and when Yahweh thy power shall deliver them before thee, thou shalt smite them and utterly destroy them. Thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor show mercy unto them. All right. So yeah, because you got the Jake, man, trying to be all buddy with the nations and the enemy, when again that's against the scriptures. All right, we're not supposed to be making any type of covenants with them, any agreements or anything like that. All right. Verse 4, yeah, because also on another note, that doesn't mean you just go out and just be a demon, be a devil, because the scriptures do talk about, if it be possible, living peaceably with all men. All right. Just observing the times, understanding the times that you're in, of course. Verse 4 says, for they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other gods, so will the anger of Yahweh be kindled against you and destroy thee suddenly. So again, we're not supposed to be buddy with these nations, all right, because again, first and foremost, the Lord chose us to be a holy, a royal priesthood. All right, he chose us to be the light bearers of this earth. We're supposed to be the representations of Yahweh Shemel Shai on this earth. All right. And these nations, all right, they can defile that, and you look around today, man, you got Jake indulging in all type of, you got Jake indulging in Egyptology and Islam and Muslim, all right, all these different fake and phony religions and philosophies and things of that nature, all right. So this is why, again, the Lord told us not to be mixing and mingling with these nations, all right. For that exact reason. All right. And again, because like I said, matter of fact, let me read on down, jump down to verse 6. It says, for thou art an holy people unto Yahweh thy power. Yahweh thy power hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth. So you see, again, that there goes that favoritism. All right. Which people, it's hard for people to, basically accumulate in their mind that there is favoritism in the Bible. All right, the Lord does love a group of people, and more than he does all the other nations. In fact, he hates the other nations. All right, these other nations, they're considered nothing compared to Yahweh Shem. Matter of fact, the scriptures say concerning these other nations, they're less than nothing. If you can picture that. All right, they're less than nothing. They don't mean anything. All right. But again, nevertheless, it's shown that, again, the Lord set us up. He set us up to be the teachers, the rulers of this earth. We're supposed to be the ones, teaching and basically show these nations how it's done, truly. All right. And again, this is why the Lord told us throughout the scriptures not to be following after these customs and the customs of these heathens. All right. Because we would get defiled. We would basically we would turn away from Yahweh Shem Yoshai. All right. We would play the whore. We would go whoring. And if you know the scriptures, all right, the scriptures talk about how the Lord is a jealous power. People try to, sprinkle it or whatever, they try to change it up like he really isn't like jealous. When it talks about him being jealous, it doesn't actually mean that he's jealous. He's a jealous power. All right, this is why Jake is constantly getting jacked up, because they're they don't submit to the laws and ordinances of Yahweh Shem Shai. All right. You know, they go out here and you're celebrating these paganistic holidays. When you people don't understand, when you celebrate these paganistic holidays, you're paying homage and respect to, you know, these other gods. All right. And again, you know, the Lord, being that the Lord is a jealous power, all right, because, you know, where our love, our respects and reverence is supposed to be to him. All right. You know, being that these gods, man, they don't move, they don't speak, they don't do anything, you know. And there's also another scripture that talks about, because Jake is so heavily indulged in these you know, other gods, these false gods and religions and whatnot. Scriptures talk about how, you know, when all hell starts breaking loose, all right, because that's when people are going to try to, you know, seek Yahweh Shem Shai. That's when they're going to try to, you know, get right. But it's going to be too late by then, you know. And the Lord's basically going to tell these people, no, you those same gods that you were worshiping before, go to those gods. Let them help you. Let them save you. All right. Because again, you know, we're not supposed to be indulging. We're not supposed to be reverencing these other gods. All right. I mean, that's this is basic stuff, you know, and you know, like when you go to the Ten Commandments, man, it tells you, you know, not to, you know, it goes into idolatry, you know, and again, you know, because when you celebrate these Christmas and these other fake gods and religions and things of that nature, that's exactly what you're doing. All right, that goes into idolatry. All right. So going back to matter of fact, actually, I did say this up. What was that? Habakkuk 2:18. Habakkuk 2:18. It says, "What profiteth the graven image that the maker thereof hath given it? The molten image and a teacher of lies, that the maker of his work trusteth therein to make dumb idols." All right. Because again, you know why? Because again, you know, these idols, again, you know, they're dumb. They don't speak. They don't move. They don't do anything. All right. They have to be set up. You got to set them up. All right. They fall down. You got to pick them up. All right. They don't do anything. All right. But yet you people, you know, you worship these graven images and these idols, all right, as if they're the Most High. You know, that's just, you know, complete and utter disrespect to Yahweh Shem Shai. All right, being that he's the creator of all things. All right, he's the one that gives life. All right, talks about it in Deuteronomy, I believe. It talks about how the Lord God, he kills, he makes alive. All right, he does all these things. It's by his great power. All right, what are these idols? What have they done? What have they contributed to? All right, like I said, you know, you gotta pick them up and set them up. You know, make them stationary and nail them down and all this other stuff. All right, they're dumb idols. They don't speak. They don't do anything. All right, and again, you know, that's the custom of these heathens, because these heathens, you know, that's what they do, man. You know, let them worship their gods and their idols. All right. Again, this is why the Lord constantly told us not to, you know, go mixing and mingling with these other nations and you know, following after these customs. All right, because it would turn you away from the true power, which is Yahweh Shem Shai. All right, it would turn your hearts away from the true power, and then you would go serving other false gods, and that's exactly what's going on today. Jake is heavily indulged in idolatry. All right, especially with the image. You know, the main one being the Cesare Borgia. All right, that you know, that so-called white image that you Jakes like to follow, that you call Jesus Christ. All right, which goes back to Serapis Christus. All right, that being one of the main you know, graven images, you know, false idols that you worship. You know, but going back to this in Jeremiah 10, you know, the basic classic concerning this false holiday that you Jakes are worshiping as we speak. All right, here on December 25th, 2020. All right. Jeremiah 10:1 again, it says, "Hear ye the word which Yahweh speaketh unto you, O house of Israel." Again, being the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Arab American Indians. All right. This is why you know, throughout the scriptures, it constantly talks about basically hearkening unto these words, hearken unto Yahweh Shem Shai. Listen, because Jake doesn't listen. Verse 2 says, "Thus saith Yahweh, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven." And why is that? Because again, you know, like what's been going on throughout this year. All right, you see all type of videos where chariots, all right, around the world, all right, and people are bugging out. They don't know what to do, all right. But even more so on a deeper level, like with these different, planets and things of that nature, like the sun, the sun worship. That's heavy. That's another thing Jake is heavily indulged in this society, all right. Or worship, the worship of the different stars and planets and things of that nature, like going to church on Sunday, again referencing that fake image that Jake loves. What's heavy within Jake community the most, that image of Cedric Borgia, all right, the fake Jesus Christ, all right. You go to church on Sunday, all right. Basically, the sun worship, which again, that goes back to the worship of Nimrod, all right. Again, Jake, man, they getting into these things, and they don't know what they're worshiping, what they're getting into, all right. Because at this point, man, it's just the scriptures talk about. I believe I mentioned it. The scriptures talk about vain traditions, the traditions of men, because like with Christmas, all right, it's just one of those things, man. It's been taught. Most of us grew up in these customs for so long, man. It's just like, and right by now, man, we just go through the flow, man. Because like now, man, especially today, all right, the that mirth is gone, man. All right, I mean, you could just see it, man. The mirth is done. This place is done. All right. When people talk about that jolly spirit and the holiday spirit or whatever, that stuff is done, man. That stuff is gone. All right. Verse 2 again, it says, "Then saith Yahweh, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven." Yeah, because again, the nations, they look at these different signs in the heavens, these stars and planets and all these things, then they look at these things in awe, and they worship it. Again, using the example again, Sunday, all right, which goes back to sun worship, which that goes back to Nimrod. All right. And again, this is why it's been reiterated throughout the Bible for us not to follow after the ways of these heathens, because it all goes back to idolatry, man. All right. And again, getting indulged in these things is, you're just going to end up turning away from Yahweh Shem Shai, and that's just going to, you're just going to end up getting a wrath of Yahweh Shem Shai put on you. All right. Reading on, it says, "For the heathen are dismayed at them. For the customs of the people are vain." Yeah, because it's worthless. It doesn't mean anything. Matter of fact, we read on, it says, "For one cutteth the tree out of the forest, the work of the hands of the workmen with the axe." And again, what is that going into? The Christmas tree. All right. Like I said, the brief rundown dealing with Nimrod. All right. He died. And supposedly his mother/wife. All right. Supposedly where he was buried, there's supposedly, it was like a tree that sprung up, and she took that as some type of sign, from there, she basically worshiped by, she paid homage by, decking it out. Because when you read on verse 4, it says, "They deck it with silver and with gold. They fasten it with nails and with hammers that it move not." So you see, they decorate it and show respect by giving gifts and all that type of stuff. All right, this is going into Christmas. This is the same thing that's being celebrated today. The worship of Nimrod. All right, here it is. People spend all type of money. This is usually the year that people, this is the time of year people, go broke buying all these gifts and stuff. All right, paying all this money for a stupid Christmas tree just to, put it back in the box and lock it up until the next year, or whatever the case may be. All right, all these things are vain customs. All right, it's worthless. And again, because on another note, man, I often talk about people, man. I often tell the people, man, you setting up these Christmas trees, man. You don't know, you could be setting your house up to be destroyed, man. You could be putting curses in your house, man. All right. But man, Jake's not gonna listen, man. But nevertheless, man, this is all a part of the customs. All right. We're not supposed to be indulging in Christmas. This is clearly going into the Christmas, which again, it goes back to the worship of Nimrod. All right, getting the tree and setting it up so it doesn't move. Like I read before. All right, well, matter of fact, let me read on verse 5. It says, "They are upright as the palm tree, but speak not. They must needs be born. because they cannot go. Be not afraid of them, for they cannot do evil, neither also is it in them to do good. Yeah, because they're dumb idols, like I read before. All right, you gotta set them up. All right, you gotta fasten them down and all this other crap. All right, it's all vain. It's all vanity. All right, and again, it's not for us to be partaking in these these different paganistic customs and whatnot. All right, well, people say, oh, well, it's the celebration of, because I've asked throughout the years I've asked people, why do they celebrate Christmas? I've got many different answers. And of course people think that they're celebrating the birthday of Yahweh Shai, right? Which again, because again, if you know the scriptures, man, our Lord wasn't born during the winter, right? He was born during the Passover, which would be around the springtime. All right. And that's just an excuse people use, that's just a excuse people use. People say, oh, you do it for the kids, and just because, again, people just make all type of excuses so they can continue in their folly. All right. But nevertheless, man, it's not for us to be partaking in these things. These are customs of the heathens. And I encourage you to look into the history of Nimrod. Look into that those customs, because a lot of the things that we do today, or if you're in the truth that we have done, all right, it goes back. A lot of these things go back to Egypt. They go back to Nimrod. All right, some way, shape, form, or fashion, they go back to idolatry. In some way, shape, form, or fashion, it's all idolatry at the end of the day. All right, because again, dealing with Christmas, all right, it has nothing to do with well, you would say Christ, all right, which his name is Yahweh Shai, the Yahweh Shai, Jesus Christ, which is Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, all right. But it's that's also no coincidence they put the X, for the Xmas, all right, because again, it has nothing to do with the Yahweh Shai, all right, it has nothing to do with the Lord. So this is why they put the X, to X out the HaMashiach, all right, because again, this has nothing to do with this has nothing to do with our Lord and Savior. All right. So that's pretty much it on that, man. Just like I said, I wasn't planning on doing this because it's after some time, man. After saying these things for years, man, you just get to a point where it's like, whatever, man. Y'all want to keep celebrating, then y'all celebrate that. Don't bring that crap around me. But like I said, for the sake of me, now I'm on YouTube. I do these videos hopefully to teach and edify the flock of Yahweh Shem Shai. I thought I'd just speak on it a little bit. So that was it on that. Hopefully this was edifying. Once again, I'm going to give all credit to Yahweh Shem Shai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. And until next time, Lord's will, I say shalom.